Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we rank our favorite Metroid protagonists. Samus has got to be number one. This magic will strengthen a shield, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society strengthens a shield with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. You know, someday I will stop minding our trip to see Primate at the
But it is not this day.
Burbank AMC 6.
Yes.
For content. But yeah, you're right. Today is not that day. So
Before you ask your question or pose your
please,
observation,
yes, please.
I saw the three AMCs in Burbank within like a 2-block radius of each other referred to collectively as the AMC 30
I saw that as well. There's like a list going around
of the most profitable movie theaters,
right?
right?
And the AMC 30
Yeah.
in Burbank was listed as, and I don't it feels like cheating. I don't understand.
I mean, it's all
how
operated by AMC,
Yes,
right?
Right. I suppose that's true, but they are in 3 different locations.
Yes.
And they are like in 3 different buildings. One's inside a mall.
Yes.
You know, so
Another one is seemingly inside a parking garage.
Yeah. No, that doesn't make. I don't know how they can get away with that. That feels like cheating to me.
It does feel like cheating. I sort of like it. There's something like nefarious about it where I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I like it.
It's also would be confusing to be like, we're going to the AMC 30. That doesn't work.
No,
'Cause again,
you need
it's
more information.
3
Right.
Different buildings, like half a mile away from each other.
Are they that far away from each other?
I would say the 16, the big one, with
Uh-huh.
the IMAX, and the 6
Are the furthest away from each
are
other.
The furthest away from
Here's
each
the thing, though. Sarah and I had dinner before we saw Primate. We had dinner right by the AMC 16
Uh-huh.
and walked to the 6.
Right, you're not
And
gonna
it took us-
die. Like
No,
you don't need
it-
a water break, but they're far.
Sure. I don't know far.
They're not even like holding. You know, I guess they're not even holding hands. It's
Sure.
not like there's like a sky bridge connecting them. Like
No,
it
that's
feels
true.
like a real stretch to say that it's one complex.
Well, and like you got to up and down some stairs to get to them. I will say that the 8 and the 16 are pretty close to being like physically adjacent to each other, right? Like that the mall is like physically there's just like one
I guess
street
there's
you
a
got to
parking
cross.
garage
Ye-
or
that-
multiple parking garages.
Right.
That, but do they? No, they don't. They don't actually connect. You still have to cross the street.
Yeah, yes, you do still have to cross
Yeah,
the street.
I'm calling foul on the whole
You
thing.
think if you have to cross the street that they can't be so like Disney California Adventure
you're not
and
crossing the street? You're crossing an Esplanade. That's different.
All right.
Then we can probably leave it there, and I'll just save the other my other observation for Tuesday.
That's good. I'm glad we can keep talking about our visit
Our
to
trip to-
the
yes.
AMC Burbank 6 and to see Primate. If you would like to hear us talk about movies but not about Primate, you can head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you're supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Yes, where Patrick and I, and most of the time a special guest, are going to theaters together and watching the movies. We've done such movies as Superman, as The Naked Gun, as The Fantastic Four First Steps, as One Battle After Another, like The Running Man, like
Tron Ares.
Tron Ares, Wake Up Dead Man.
Tron Ares, by the way, available to watch for free on Disney Plus right now.
Right.
Not a good movie.
But you could watch it like as part of your subscription.
That's right.
And then listen to the episode instead of having to pay money to see it in theater.
Right.
And then listen to the episode.
Actually, a lot of these movies are on like the
Probably
popular streaming services
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
we've been doing this since July, so.
Fantastic Four is for sure.
Superman must be.
Wake Up Dead Man, definitely. So yeah, there's a bunch.
And if I missed any in there, I
Don't think you did.
The Naked Gun. Can't remember if I
You
said
said that, yeah.
Anyways, lots of good movies in there. For January, we're going to be seeing one of the Lord of the Rings movies because it is returning to theaters, and we still need to schedule that.
Yes, we sure do.
And then also there are previous miniseries for you to enjoy, like NCS Arcade, where Patrick and I played games that we had never beaten before, and NCS Goes Broadway, NCS Detective Club. There is something available at every level on the Patreon, including free. So go over and check that
Including
out.
free. So yes, patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society. Also, if you would like to be in our Discord where you can chat with other people who are interested in Nintendo and listen to this show, you can email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com, and I will send you an invitation and you can hang out there and you can have a good time. All right, Mark, let's get into our main topic here. Let's discuss and do a little mega ranking of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Okay, so this is our first real opportunity to talk about the game since you finished it. Over the last weekend. I finished it maybe a week before that. So I think are there any, we're going to just do like a general discussion here, and then we will move on and we will be doing several mini rankings. We're going to rank the areas in the game, the psychic powers, the bosses, and then of course we're going to be ending it by ranking our favorite Federation Marine guys and gals and robots. But I kind of want to just like, we will get to spoilers here. And can we talk?
Yeah, let's talk
non-spoilery.
generally first.
Okay, and then we will put up a flare.
Yeah.
To be like, now get out.
Yeah, because I want to talk about the story.
Yes, as do I.
And that's not really part of. I don't know that it'll come up organically as part of any of the rankings. So I think we should do that up when we get to the spoiler part.
Yes.
So overall, I would say that my experience with the game was a little bit like a reverse bell curve. Where like at the beginning I was really enjoying it, and I think that it's like really strong. I think that first area that you go to, like Fury Green, when you first I think as like atmosphere and placemaking and all of that, maybe my favorite area in the game to initially discover, but then diminishing returns as you like go back more and more, not because it's like gets worse or anything, just because
you're treading the same very short stretch of
exactly.
It that's like kind of featureless.
And
it bugs me a little bit that you have to like go into it and then be shot out of a cannon. You know what I mean?
I do.
And like you're pushing the button to skip the cutscene and it's like, I'm sorry, loading.
The longest part you can't skip. But anyways, I think the game makes a really strong first impression.
Yeah.
And then the further you get into it, I never felt like my experience was bad. There are elements of the game that I don't love, but I never felt like my experience was bad. It just kind of became like samey. It didn't really have a lot of standout moments to me, and then I ended up really enjoying the end of the game.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the end of the game. There's a moment where because like you're kind of linearly going through like these, you get popped out into this big open desert world, and then like you have to go to Volt Forge next, and you just go to Volt Forge, right? And then like after that, it like kicks you on to do you go to the ice area next?
I honestly can't remember, because maybe you go to the ice area, but only for a brief moment before you have to turn around and you can't advance any further.
Right.
Then you have to go to
the fire area.
Right, the fire area to get something and then go like.
Right, yeah. Like there's so when the game is engaging in that kind of like,
or maybe it's the reverse. Where you go
I
to
think
the
it's the
fire
reverse.
Area,
I think
and then you go to the ice area to get something that lets you. Yeah, right. I can't remember.
So like when it's doing that kind of thing, or when it's just kind of like, oh, you have new power-ups and like the three other areas are still like available to you to explore with those power-ups, and you can and need to get things in those areas to like continue on with the story and progress the mission. I think all of that's really like smart, and I think it's actually kind of good that you've got this guy in your ear being like, hey, have you thought about revisiting this place? Because like I was not frequently, because like I would see things in those areas and be like, I will need to come back here once I get the boost ball. That was one of my first in the Volt Forge. There was like a missile power up that I'm like, okay, I can see the track.
Is
there.
It like the one that's? Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's really early. And so like there was that, but then there were also like things that I didn't know were kind of like triggers for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like that the game I agree with you that I do think it's good that Miles is like in your ear, like uh
Sometimes.
some hinting at those
Yeah.
things, but I also think that it highlights what I would say is maybe like something that detracts from the game. Whereas I thought initially when you go to that second area, whichever one of the two that it is,
I think it's the ice.
and then you realize, oh, I can't progress anymore. I need to go to the like other area to get an upgrade, and then I can come back. I feel like that's great because it's organic and you can figure it out.
Right.
But for my money, anyways, I felt like there were times where without Miles prompting, I don't know that I necessarily would have like worked
Sure.
out what I needed to do
Right.
to move forward. I mean, I guess, yeah. So, and I think that something that people look to classic Metroid games like Super Metroid for is it has that really good organic storytelling where you can environmentally work out,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
what you need to do. And I think this game doesn't do that, but it's like supplements it by having a character kind of
A character
be in
kind
your
of
ear
guide you,
about it.
which is obviously going to be like less elegant than if the map can lead you to those things. The problem is like the signposting in the desert is awful.
Yeah.
Right. Like and part of that like makes sense as I am compelled by the desert as like a stark empty place in like real contrast to the individual areas that you go into where there's just nothing out there, and it feels like lonely and desolate in a way that the other areas kind of don't. Like even in like the volcano, it's like, yeah, this is a volcano, but it's also like the remains of a lab that like the Lemorn were like doing stuff in.
Yeah.
And like the desert is like, no, this is just a desert. Every now and then there's like wreckage from your guys, like the Federation wreckage that's like strewn about. But it's like genuinely just kind of like an oppressively big open empty space.
Yeah, I almost wish that the desert didn't have combat encounters, and they don't happen all that often.
Right. But
um,
sometimes they do when you're like trying to do something else and you're like, I gotta like kill this thing now. Yeah.
right. It's like, okay, well, I guess, yeah. I wish it was almost more desolate instead of, but the I don't, there was that interview with the developers of Metroid Prime
Right.
4, and they talked about, when we started development, people thought about open worlds one way, and by the time we wrapped up development, thoughts had changed, but we were committed, to this idea.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like, well, wait, what were you aiming for?
I know.
And also, have thoughts about open worlds changed that much? We all still like Breath of the Wild.
Right, but it almost feels a little bit like half-hearted because there are a few kind of like shrine equivalents.
Totally.
In fact, they're called shrines, I think.
I think you're right.
In this game,
It's maybe like 6, right?
Yeah, like
2 for each beam.
I think so. Like in this game that are in the desert that you like find, and then you can go into them and you get like an upgrade, and there's like some of those green crystal that you need to get. You know what I
Right,
mean? And
yeah.
but there's like a puzzle, usually a small puzzle for you to solve in order to get the thing. And so it
And because of the way, all Metroid games work, you don't know that you're going to have the tools necessary in order to solve the puzzle, which is where it's totally different from a Zelda game.
yes, yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, I mean, I feel about the desert like I feel about kind of all of the game, which is that I liked the desert, and there were things about it that bugged me, but I really liked the art style in this game. I think this game looks
Art style is smart,
really
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Even when you were going into a new area and like the font that they used and the presentation of like
The font's
name
cool.
Of the area,
I don't know what's happening. The font's cool.
I
I like seeing those letters on the screen. They're
Me
like
too.
white, they're sleek.
Yeah.
It's like graphic and impressive.
it looked great.
And it's like over a vista of it's a jungle or an icy tundra, and it's just like letters, and it just like I don't know, it makes an impression.
It makes an impression. And like the desert, I feel like is just another thing I think this game does well that the desert is a part of is it introduces a lot of things, like new elements to Metroid, like lore, to
Oh
the
yeah, sure.
Metroid universe. Like space pirates are in the game, but only tangentially. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it.
Ditto Metroids in the game,
Right?
but
Yeah.
only ever like possessing the boss
I
creatures.
totally forgot that those were Metroids for a while.
There are Metroids
Like,
inside them,
yeah.
right?
Anyway, so that's another thing I like about the desert. It's like, oh, this is new. Like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. What's interesting about the game, just like in general, is that like there is, and maybe a lot of it is just like the structure towards the end of the game starts to feel a little like kind of like slow or unimpactful. The heading into the Great Mines, after you've collected 4 of the 5 like big key MacGuffins in the game.
The game has like 2 end game collectathon things.
Yes.
One that you can't avoid, and then one that I guess if you were diligent about it beforehand, you could avoid, but or at least be almost done by the time that it
Yeah, I mean,
comes around.
I was pretty close to being done collecting the green stuff before the game was like, now you need it to progress.
Yeah.
But you know, because I was making a concerted effort to do it.
But I interrupted you. Your point was like the end of the game.
Yeah, well, and not like the very end of the game, like the very end when you when you like engage the point of no return, which they're very explicit about. I think is cool and fun, and I like both the like singular combat encounter there and the sort of like story that unfolds from the end there. I think is cool and fun and exciting, and as you say, like sort of a different gear for Metroid, while also like feeling of a piece with the greater Metroid saga. It is really just to me that like from entering the mines to that point of no return, that's like the weakest part of the game.
I completely agree. Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? Is the and this is not 1-to-1, but the end of Fallout 3 a little bit, where like Fallout is so much Fallout 3, the first Fallout that I ever played, was so much like oh, I could like go anywhere, I can do anything, I can make all of these choices, and then the end of the game funnels you into a very specific like experience. And I kind of and also involving big military robots, and like soldiers.
Yeah,
and
sure.
so I was just feeling like that same sort of like deja vu, having that experience towards the end of this game.
Yeah, it
not
is
to get too far into spoiler territory,
right,
I guess, but
which well, I think we're going to tip over into it pretty soon. But yeah, I just like for me that even with like the large open desert, the game still ends up feeling sort of small to me, which is kind of an okay thing for a Metroid game, right? Like I don't need Metroid to be this like giant sprawling thing. I like the idea that I can finish Super Metroid in like 3 hours, I had forgotten until Nintendo had those like year in review things that I played Metroid Dread earlier last year. Like replayed it. And I put like 11 hours into the game, beat it, and it's like, yeah, that was great. That's all I like. I don't need a Metroid game to be bigger than that. It is weird that this game presents you with like an open world and that it is not bigger. But so like those two things, I feel like they're at odds with each other.
Exactly. It's like, yes, I know exactly what you mean, and I feel that contradiction or like that conflict in my feelings about the game in general.
Yeah.
I do miss a little bit the interconnectedness of the world. I know that they use the desert to do that, but to kind of like bridge those gaps.
But even if there was just like one way where you could access one of those areas through another one.
Yes, I wish that like you didn't have to exactly. Like there was like a shortcut or something.
Yeah.
That one of those big shooty cannon things that the Lemorans still seem to love.
I gotta say, very interesting that there's no fast travel in this game.
Right.
And like I was sort of shocked that like at some point I was like, okay, now I gotta drive all the way to the other side of the map, and I was like, or and I pulled up the map like I was going to fast travel, and then was like, oh no, the game doesn't have that.
Right.
And like sort of hard pressed to think of another like modern game like this with a big open world that like doesn't let you fast travel.
But to your point, it's not really a big open world.
That's true.
Like the area is not that vast.
You can get to the other side pretty quick.
And it's an uncomfortable tension between like, is this an open? Because it's definitely not. It's not an open world game.
Right.
It's like a Metroid game with a desert area.
Right.
Just
jammed
plopped
in the middle of it. Right. Yeah. It's very strange in that regard. I will say that the other part of the game that I found more disappointing than anything else is, you said that this game did introduce a lot of things or like concepts that are new to Metroid. What it didn't really introduce new to Metroid are like power-ups.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like there are different kinds of like invisible things that you can interact with that like you need power-ups that you haven't gotten in these games before. But generally speaking, you see the spider ball tracks, you see the things that you're going to have to power up with a bomb or with a boost ball. You get missiles and power bombs and super missiles and an electricity beam, an ice beam, a fire beam. Like everything is pretty rote in that regard. You grapple, you know, like all those kind of
It's
things.
like the way that in this game, they're purple because they're psychic abilities.
Right.
But yeah, functionally it's identical, and it is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. There are also like 2 suit upgrades in this game, and like I don't like one of them. You need to ride the viola, right? And then the other one is like just to get into the final area.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they look cool. I will say they look cool.
They look cool. The art style in the game is good. But yeah, I'm just like, well, okay, so we just like changed the way she looked, you know?
Yeah.
It's always like that moment where you get like the various suit in other games and you're like, great, now I can go into that fiery area without taking damage. Or you get the gravity suit and now you can move freely underwater or whatever.
Yeah. That first like the Viola suit has more like, it's more interesting from a lore perspective than it is from
I agree.
like a gameplay perspective, because you're right, it doesn't like in the game it allows you to ride the viola and like some other stuff that we can talk about we get into spoiler territory, but again, the spoiler territory stuff is lore related, not like gameplay related.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Well, and I just wish that kind of stuff was. I just wish there was like one big like gameplay surprise, and maybe that's what the viola is. Is like that's the gameplay surprise, and it is fun, and I do like it, and it looks cool. But like, there's so much of the game where you can't use it,
and I think it's like the conundrum that they brought on themselves, right? Like they devoted clearly a lot of development time and thinking to like the viola and to the like desert area and all of that. And so that I think you're right, was like, hey, here's the thing. And maybe that's kind of like our indifference to it is what they're talking about, where like attitudes have changed. And so I think, so I agree, I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you that I wish the game had one more gameplay twist or element or something to bring to it.
Right.
And when it doesn't, I think that's really what stops it from being like a plus tier game instead of just being like a good video game.
Yeah, a good video game and like a pretty good Metroid Prime game, right?
Right.
Look, neither you or I have super clear memories of Metroid Primes 2 or 3, but like I put this like kind of smack dab in the middle of my. It's not as good as 1, but then after that I'm like, yeah, it's probably maybe the best of the remaining ones. Maybe if I revisit 2, I'll think differently, but like I definitely like it better than 3. So yeah, I don't know.
They're all games that have problems.
Totally, yes.
Like even the first game, as much as I liked it when I was replaying remastered, I got towards the end, and it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. The only reason I'm doing
Yes.
this is because I just want to beat this game.
Right, I just want it to be done.
It's not fun. I'm not enjoying this experience.
So both, and Jeremy and I were talking about this on Video Games, a Comedy Show, but both the original Metroid Prime has that like they're like artifacts that you're collecting at the end, and this where you have to get all of the like green stuff and like mech parts and all this other stuff at the end to finish the game. If those were just part of like the reaching the 100% completion, it would be a totally different story, because you'd be like, this is supposed to be a little bit boring. This is supposed to be the stuff where this is me going above and beyond, and like
it's getting all the Korok seeds.
It's getting all the Korok seeds, right? But instead, the game is like, you need all the Korok seeds in order to finish the game,
right?
Which would have made Breath of the Wild a bad game.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's another just like point of tension that I have with the game, and which keeps me from exactly, like it's not like a plus premium experience. It's a good game that I liked a lot.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, or are we ready to tip into like full out spoiler territory?
I think we tip into full out spoiler territory now. So if you have not finished Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, this is probably where we say adieu, and check us out later when you have finished Metroid Prime 4. Or if you've decided you're never going to play this game,
right? Yeah.
Then hang out with us, and that's fine. So would you like to discuss the story of this game, such as it is?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Right. So the game opens with like Samus visiting a Federation like base, and like it gets attacked by space pirates, and like in the middle of this attack, she and a bunch of Federation guys get sucked off into another dimension. I said sucked off, and that's unfortunate.
They get teleported.
They're teleported to another world.
They get teleported by one of like the teleporter things that we later use in the game.
Yes,
I'm assuming.
I assume so too.
Yeah.
And then like you spend the rest of the game sort of reuniting with the surviving members of the Galactic Federation, these Marines that are on the planet with you, and also discovering what happened to this place. And you are set on like a mythic chosen one mission to preserve the memory, lifestyle, culture, technology of these people called the Lemorn, who are long dead.
Yeah, long dead.
/ long turned into like grievers, the like zombie versions of themselves that attack you. And Silex is also there.
Yes, Silex also gets teleported.
Yep.
And then Silex is an interesting presence in the game because he is not really in it that much.
Right. So, well, and he gets hooked up to like
it's like a healing pod
that is also like the computer mainframe or something, because he's controlling these drones that take on his form.
Yeah.
And like he's just like harassing Samus.
Yeah, he's basically like tapped into the planet seemingly at that point or something.
I don't think it's the planet. I think it's the technology though.
Okay.
Because like when you fight him, he's like when he comes out of like his healing pod, he has these tentacles, but they are just cables that were like holding him in place. And that's also why he's only able to control like the machines.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So he's there at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And then in like a cutscene, really, and then he basically disappears for the majority of the game, and then comes back at the end. Like you said, you do fight some like hologram versions of him.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it, which I was surprised by just how little he has a presence in the game.
Well, and so like he's a little bit on a parallel, not that, again, he's just in like a healing pod the whole time, but like his story like kind of runs in parallel to Samus's story, right? Like you're there and you are like executing on preserving the Lemorn people and their memories, right? That's like what you're there to do. That's why they brought you there.
Yeah, so that is what I think is, I mean, really, to me, the most interesting part of the story, and I think kind of a missed opportunity with Silex, because in the lore of Metroid Prime 4, Samus is not chosen to be brought there. Like it's not Samus. Samus is not the chosen one. She, uh, there's no like prophecy that's like Samus Aran. We're waiting for you.
Sure.
You know, it's happenstance that she gets brought up there, and then so that's the interesting lore part about the Viola suit is that the Viola suit canonically it like anybody could be the chosen one. It will basically 3D print
Sure.
what you need in order to be able to use the psychic abilities. Like it gives you like one of the first things you get is like the psychic glove or something like that.
Right.
And like that it's not Samus's own suit. Like it's good luck that Samus's own suit like has
Right.
you know like armor and she's used these abilities in the past and all this kind of stuff before. But that's not what so the Lemore were just putting out this call into space like hundreds, thousands, whatever it is.
We
years
have no
ago.
idea how and we also don't know how many times this has happened before.
Right.
That like someone has been called to the planet, been told that they're the chosen one,
Right.
and then like failed to
be able to like recover all
or
the memories
honestly
and stuff.
succeed.
Yeah, I guess
I guess possible.
Well, no, because the things wouldn't be there.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good
that
point.
you're collecting. Like they wouldn't be there if they hadn't succeeded. So that's what I think is so interesting. Where it's like, and I feel like it's a little bit of a because Samus is not the chosen one. There's no prophecy. It's not like the other Metroid stories, you know, where she is so important. She just happens to be the one that is there and gets those psychic abilities.
So okay, but and it's not just that she's there and gets the psychic abilities and is like physically capable of doing this task. The part that I find so compelling about it is that Samus, as we know, has this like preservationist streak in her already. Like it's something that is present in Super Metroid and Fusion, that like she is a friend to the animals and will rescue them from a planet Zebes as it's counting down to explode, or that space station that as it's counting down to explode, and they're like in her ship in like the end game cutscenes because like she wants to protect the animals. This game ends with an all-out battle between Samus and the Marines behind her against Sylux, and they're going down during the fight, and you revive them and whatever. But then like you're there's like other crazy stuff that happens. But you defeat Sylux, and then he comes back, and they're like, Samus, we'll hold them back. You just get out of here. And Samus does.
Yeah.
She leaves the Federation Marine guys behind, presumably to die.
Which, by the way, this is the second time they've like thought that they were sacrificing themselves for her by when this happens.
And Samus like kind of doesn't. I mean, she's silent throughout the game.
Yeah.
So like doesn't say anything to these guys. Is not like thank you or whatever. She's on a mission to save the Lemorn, to save this alien species.
And more just like the memory of them.
Well, and I don't. So okay, she gets teleported, sucked off to some other planet, where she like plants the seed of like a new memory tree or whatever. And like it seems like it's gonna take, and like that tree will bloom again. And does that mean that like the Lemorn people also like come back into existence eventually?
I don't know. Or is it as like a warning? Because the Lemorn's whole thing is like hubris, right?
Sure. Yes.
They thought that they could tame nature with technology, and then that doesn't end up happening.
Right. Well, and there's this green stuff too. There's green stuff.
But yeah, it's unclear to me if like the Lemorn are reborn, or it really is just about like preserving their memories or like their history.
Yeah. But the point is that that's what Samus, that's what her mission is, like that's what she's actually there doing. Yeah, you're working side by side with these Marine guys, and like you'll teleport them home if you're already heading home. But like it doesn't seem like it's a priority to her.
No, it doesn't at all.
And there's a way where that like is a sort of like shock to like characterize your hero this way.
I thought it was a shocking end to the game.
Yeah.
That I 100% expected there to be like another part of that boss battle or something,
Right.
that I was bringing them all back. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting choice.
Right. And it's not as though like it's so strange because you're right. Like they do all have their like sacrificial moments during the Great Mind section, where it's kind of like one by one they pop up and
Literally one by one. It's
yeah,
like,
and they're like,
leave me behind.
Go on, Samus, go without me.
Yeah.
We can hold these guys for you.
And then they're like overwhelmed.
But they're all fine.
Yeah,
right?
they're all fine.
So when the game starts to like repeat that moment, it can't help but feel comical, right? Or like showing you that like this doesn't matter to her. Like we're not meant to take this sacrifice like seriously or emotionally. I mean, it's emotional in some ways, but like the emotion is more complicated than just those guys sacrifice themselves for Samus. It's like this doesn't affect her in the way that
Right.
a narrative would expect it to affect a protagonist.
Yeah. And they're, fine sacrificing themselves for her.
Sure.
They're all super fans, which I think is such a fun part of the
Yes.
beginning of the game. Where you're at the base or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're walking around, and everyone's like, oh,
Hey,
Samus,
Samus,
it's
cool.
Samus. I can't believe she's here.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think how much of a celebrity you are is a funny part of the game.
Did you replay the opening after beating it?
I didn't, but I was curious to.
Yeah.
Did you replay
No,
it?
I didn't.
Yeah.
But I just had that thought now of like, oh yeah, do you meet these guys before you meet them?
Yeah, I can't remember.
On View Rose.
They don't lampshade it if you do.
They don't, right? Yeah, that they're not like, oh yeah, we met, but I don't know if you remember me, but
right. And this is the type of game that they very easily could have done that. It would not have shocked me. If they had done that, because the characters, the Federation characters are, I think when I first started the game, I was comparing it to something like Aliens 2 or like Aliens.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's a big, broad, over the top, like kind of like adventure movie / game.
Yes, but I do think the difference is that like Aliens is a great film, but like it will sometimes use like the broad caricature of that those characters represent to like reveal the hidden truth like under them, like
Yes, and this game does not.
This game does not.
Yeah.
Like Hudson's bravado quickly turns into like his cowardice.
I mean, you do
when you
get
dig into it just a little
the
bit.
stuff with like Tokabi.
I cannot deal with Tokabi's change halfway through this game. So this is one of the guys that you he's in the ice area
Is he the
originally.
one with his leg is hurt?
Yeah, his leg is hurt. And you rescue him, and like he's operating a turret or something, and he goes back to the base camp like all of them do, but then like in the very end game, he becomes a sort of like Native American like mystic, wandering the desert and being like, I'm in touch with Planet Vuros.
My
and
dad always told me, yeah.
And I just don't like what is this?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't make any sense.
I like the one. Also, like Mackenzie sets it up like if you're looking for Tokabi, you can see his like campfires out in the desert. And it's like it seems like a wholly unmotivated switch in his character.
Yeah, totally.
And like
why are you hanging out in this super dangerous desert?
Why are you doing that? Why are you lighting a fire? It's always daytime. It's called Soul Valley. Soul means sun, my guy. But yeah, so like it's such a bizarre turn, and like the idea that like Marines crash land on a planet, one of them goes native and like becomes like obsessed with the mystical rhythms of the planet. Cool. I would just like to see that.
Yeah,
I'd just like to see it happen.
Like, yes, feel motivated in any way.
In any way.
What I was saying at the beginning, I just want to return to about like I feel like there's a missed opportunity here because Silex is stuck in the healing chamber the entire game, where I think because Samus is the chosen one by chance, not by fate, not by prophecy, that there could have been more, I think, potentially more interesting thing with like Silex also going after the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes. Well, and so what I find most interesting about that is like the difference is the planet is using Samus, right? Or the planet, the people
right.
are using Samus, where Silex is trying to use the planet, right? He's using the
Yeah, that's
technology.
true. Yeah.
That like it's two different like Samus is being used, he's trying to use. And I don't know if so there are flashes of Silex's origin or like an early memory of Silex that Samus has, where like he looks like he's like on his knees and she kind of like walks up to him as though to like help him out, and he like slaps her hand away. You recall this?
Yeah,
This memory?
It happens like at the end of the game, basically.
Really close to the end,
Yeah.
because it fades into him like looking down at his hands, and then his hands are hooked up to the healing pod stuff. So there's more to that sequence. Do you know this?
Yes, because I looked it up afterwards.
Got it. Okay. So I think you can access this memory by or the video by beating the game on hard mode, or by scanning the Silex amiibo, which is what I did because I wasn't about to play this game again. And it's Silex formerly was a Galactic Marine guy, and he's like in some big skirmish against space pirates, and he and his squad are like have been working on trying to attack this like weapon. And Silex is like, I'm going to get to that weapon. We're going to use it against the enemy. And he gets like a call from, command being like, hey, hold your position. Samus will be there shortly. And he's like, what's Samus? I don't care. We're still going to go in and take this weapon. I want that weapon. And the weapon goes off, right? Or is it that Samus arrives and blows it up? I think it's Samus arrives, blows it up. I'm trying to remember which it is. Either the weapon like obliterates everyone on the battlefield, Silex dodges away, Samus appears and blows up the weapon, or she blows up the weapon and that explosion hurts a bunch of people. I think it's probably the former, and not that Samus is responsible for it. But Samus is responsible for destroying a weapon that Silex wanted to take against the orders of his commanding officer. And so when he slaps her hand away, it's because he perceives her as having taken something from him. And it's a similar thing here, where it's like Samus lets herself be used by the planet, Silex tries to use the planet, and the planet chooses her.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's just not really the narrative. Like, it's in there, but it's not the narrative that the game is like presenting.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes. And it's a difficult like needle to thread.
Totally.
Because how much story do you want in a Metroid game? This game has quite a bit of unskippable cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I was going back to the base and I saw that Mackenzie was going to talk to me, and so I was like, I'm just going to put this down and like go do something else, and then I'll come back and I'll pick this up, and like, they're maybe 3 minutes long, but
right, they're not super long, but they're also just like, they're not additive, we will end this episode with ranking these Federation guys, and it's sort of tough because their personalities are thin. Their interests are Samus and one other thing, right? And actually, maybe they all just have one thing, right? Because if I would say like Armstrong is interested in Samus, but everyone else is just kind of like, oh yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. I would say they all have like one defining feature.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about when you're going through the mines and everybody is like sacrificing themselves one by one. And Duke, is that his name?
Yes.
Sacrifices himself, because like Duke and Armstrong are a pair.
Right, they're
basically.
a duo. Right,
they're a duo, and so
she's green, he's like a grizzled old commander, whatever.
So Duke sacrifices himself, is one of the first characters to do that, and then Armstrong has this, like maybe minute-long kind of like breakdown and being like, Duke, whatever. Oh, I can't believe he's lost. And Samus, who doesn't talk through the game, just like has no reaction.
Just like no
to
reaction.
her having this like breakdown.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just really funny and show. Yeah. Yeah, she's not really. Samus is not particularly warm in this game.
No.
The other thing I wanted to talk about with Silex is another thing that I just thought was interesting and I thought would figure more into the plot, but doesn't really, is like his cloned Metroid things, that only have two little nuclei inside them
yeah.
instead of you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I
I think those are the ones that are
do. That are taking over
the
the boss
bosses.
characters.
Yeah, but I just assumed Silex was going to be a more integral part of the action. And
Yeah,
he's
or like
not
a
really.
mastermind of something
Yeah.
in some way, and he really isn't.
He's a pathetic character, and in that way, it is
Totally.
interesting
Right.
that like he's treated that way. He's not treated like a big. He himself is not like a big threat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, which is so interesting that like he himself is not a big threat, and the like marine guys who make up like the core of this part of the story are disposable in like the emotional sense that you're meant to be like, okay, forget them. It's just so funny that there are like these two pillars of the story that Samus doesn't seem to take seriously.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know that I've encountered a narrative in a game or like film or anything like that where there are two parts that are like just like actively cast off in favor of we're just preserving the Lamorne.
Right.
But
so
then
why include them at all?
why except to emphasize that like this is the only thing that matters to her.
But that doesn't feel super motivated to me.
No, and which is why like I've got to pull in that like at that extra textual like she's a preservationist and likes to save alien creatures.
Yes, but like I
and
think,
Metroids.
But I think that's true. And I guess we haven't really seen her interact so much with human characters before. But I would, before this game, I guess, I would have imagined that her empathy for living creatures and aliens would have extended to other human beings.
I mean, yeah, you would sort of think so.
But-
and like Metroid Other M suggests that she is interested in like helping humans, right? Like she has a relationship with them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, well, which characterization do you like more? The like, infinitely stoic badass of Samus in Prime 4, or the sort of like falling to pieces every 30 seconds of Other M.
Yeah.
And like they're probably both miscalibrations, right?
I will say, for all of its flaws, I can't think of another Metroid game, full stop, Metroid Prime game for sure, that the stuff we wanted to talk about is the story. And like that's the stuff we wanted to spoil.
Yeah.
Not real like, and maybe it's a testament to what we were saying up front, where it's like the game doesn't really bring anything new on the gameplay front. Like all the powers are powers that are repeated before and all that kind of stuff. So the only really thing there is to talk about that is new is this characterization.
Yeah. I mean, there are parts of like the end of Dread that I think are interesting to talk about, like in a spoilery kind of like plot development sort of way. And then I love the storytelling at the end of Super Metroid. But yeah, I mean you're right that it's not something that you can reliably expect from a Metroid game. Okay. Is now the time when we start doing these rankings?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the first set of things that we are going to be ranking are the areas in the game. So should we just go down them one by one and just like discuss what they are a little bit? So the first one is Tanamar, which is like not really an area of the game so much as it is just like the Federation like trooper staging base, where you do fight pirates because they invade. Silex and pirates invade. But it is not like an area that you explore or spend a lot of time in.
No, it's very like focused, corridor driven. Just like getting you to the boss fight, getting you to the like story beat of the area.
Right. It's essentially the tutorial, right? And sort of just like the mechanical tutorial, not even like the here's how you deal with the world tutorial. Because I would say that is sort of Fury Green. But so like aesthetically, Tanamar is just like a military base, right? Like it's sort of nondescript in that way. Next up, we've got Fury Green, which is the jungle.
Yes, and where the game, this is really kind of like the tutorial.
Yes.
of the game, and also where the whole planet has a very like um what's the word I'm trying to use? Like everything is very gynecological.
Oh yes, absolutely. There are vagina doorways everywhere and fallopian tube hallways, like everywhere.
Especially in Fury Green.
Sure.
You like enter that main area where the cannon is, and yes, you can like shoot off from the cannon, but in the beginning of the game you can't. And so the entry point is like you go through a vagina door,
Yep.
and then to access the next area you either go through the left tube or the right tube.
Yes.
And then it's a long like winding hallway that they connect again together.
Yeah.
And then you can enter into the next area. Like it is not subtle. The game is not subtle in that
No,
regard.
and it's sort of awesome. Like I love the commitment to that that aesthetic and that like imagery, just cuz like I've never seen that in
Right.
certainly a Nintendo game, but just like a video game to be so like confident in like, yeah, we want this expression that like looks like female genitalia, um, and it just is it. They never draw attention to it,
Right.
but is like just so incredibly obvious that that's what's happening.
Yeah. I guess I mean, well, maybe not. Is it interesting that, Samus had a game that was so much about like
Motherhood.
motherhood,
Yeah.
and that I feel like even though, they've kind of swore off, like kind of pretend that game, that Other M doesn't exist. I think that at least because I played that game, I'm familiar with the story and like how much motherhood is a big part of it. That to me, that is such a big part of Samus's story now.
Yeah.
That
What's interesting is like the other M is such a like an external expression of motherhood. There's like the bottle ship, and there's like a distress signal. It's called like the baby's cry, and all of these things where it's like if you were reading a like busy world of Richard Scarry book and like went to the page that was mom, that's what you would see.
Right.
Right. But that this is much more like internal and biological in its nature of like how it explores not necessarily concepts of like just motherhood. It's not actually exploring the concepts. It's more just like the imagery.
I know, but that's what I think is.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't like why
Yes, why indeed.
why
Other
yeah.
than it's a strong choice to make.
Right.
And sometimes like that's enough. And
Right.
that's kind of how I felt about it here, that like it's was such a compelling, interesting, weird choice.
Yeah. But anyways, Fury Green is like your introduction to
Sorry, I want to stay on it for
Oh,
just
yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
second. Just that that is an aspect of the Alien movies, which the Metroid games like borrow so much from, that they do not, that like has not really been a part of the series to this point, is the sort of like reproductive organ imagery. The aliens look like vaginas with teeth with penises on the back of their heads, right?
Right.
And that like in Metroid, they're like, no, they're like jellyfish. They're jellyfish with teeth. And so I do like that it's part of that, like feels like it's in line with the H.R. Giger design
Mhm.
of alien stuff.
But not to, because like in those movies it's to alienate, right?
Right.
It's used to make you feel uncomfortable, and that's not the case here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would actually say that a lot of the areas in this game feel like kind of warm and natural and welcoming, in a way that Metroid games don't always.
Right, which also makes sense in the world of the game.
Yeah.
Because it was like a thriving planet that people were, like living on.
Right. Fury Green. One of the big features of Fury Green is this like spirit tree or whatever it's called. It's basically the thing from Avatar. That's the tree that has all of their like cultural memory associated with it. But it's cool how frequently you see that thing like off in the distance as you're exploring Fury Green, and that becomes like the thing in the desert where when you see the tree in the distance that you're like, I can get to Fury Green by following that.
Yes.
Which is very cool. I really like, I know I was bagging on the signposting in the desert, but that all of the major areas you can see one piece of it from like a
Yeah,
distance.
they all have like a landmark.
Right. It's like going to Disneyland,
Uh-huh.
right? Where you're like, okay, Space Mountain is over there.
Yeah.
So I know that we
Exactly.
can walk this way to get to, Star Tours or whatever.
Yeah, I would say Fury Green is like, I mean, so many classic grass levels where it's the introduction. You spend a lot of time there, you return to it. That's where your headquarters are. So you're always coming back, like after every big mission to Fury Green. So it's not the most like exciting or dynamic area, but I do think that it's very pretty. And
Yeah.
I like the music a lot. Like if you've seen the promos for the game,
Yeah, then that's what you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Next up is Soul Valley, which is the desert, which I feel like we've talked about a fair amount already.
Yeah.
I don't know what more we really have to say about it. So we'll move instead right on to Volt Forge, which is a, storm powered factory that makes robots and mostly motorcycles.
Yep.
Um,
And also has like a driving school in it.
That's okay. Can we talk about the Viola driving school in it? It's this like enormous underground labyrinthian track that like teaches you all of the various ways that you can control the Viola. And then like something like that never occurs again.
Right.
I thought for sure as I was playing it that like there would be a later test of my driving abilities.
Yeah, that there would be, yes, exactly. That there'd be an obstacle course or like something that you have to get through. But no. I mean the desert, I guess. But yeah, it never happens again in an area.
Yeah.
There are areas where you like in a flare pool where you have to use Viola to get around.
That's true.
But nothing like the track ever again. I thought Volt Forge was cool. I think it's a great kind of like introduction. There's 3 different towers that you get to, and like
I love the 3 different towers, and I love that like when you first encounter them, you have to approach each one by like using the lift to go down them. It's a series of elevators, and then as you get more abilities, you discover shortcuts between the towers. This is sort of what we were talking about with the individual areas, that like there aren't shortcuts between them. You always have to go back out to the desert. And like Volt Forge starts out that way, and then as you get better, you can like,
Yep.
it's very cool and like such a threatening space.
Yes, because it's all like electricity that you said is powered by this lightning, so this constant storm.
Yes.
The music is really good. It's a strong area.
It is also, I think, the only like major area that doesn't have a strong Galactic Federation presence, right?
Yeah.
All the rest of them, you like rescue someone there or they accompany you to it. And like you just don't ever talk to Federation guys while you're in Volt Forge.
Do you not get talk to? Is the sniper guy like is
Takabi?
Is he not in?
No,
the
he's
Volt Forge?
he's in the Ice Belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
But like part of this is that like you're learning about why they make these motorcycles, and it seems like the Viola was the first thing they invented somehow. And they were like, we should use this technology to make other things.
They knocked it out of the park, I guess.
Which is just so fun. And like the fact that there's this assembly line where they're just like making Viola after Viola after Viola.
For who?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, so I got to thinking that because you push start to summon the plus button to summon the bike and start again to dismiss it. But I got to thinking that like you were materializing them out of the air and then disintegrating them every time. So it just had to keep making new bikes.
Oh, that's funny.
To send out to you. Volt Forge, very cool.
Yeah, Volt Forge, very cool.
All right, let's move on next to the Ice Belt, which starts as a big open snowy field where you have to fight wolves for an undetermined amount of time.
Yeah.
How did you feel about this wolf encounter thing?
And
tell me this, did you fail it the first time?
I was playing on casual, so no, I didn't fail it the first time. By that time, I had gone from normal to casual. In fact, I did that in Volt Forge because I kept dying at the some of the like
their robot fights.
The robot fights, and I was like, never again.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting. They like make a big circle around you.
Yes.
And then the gameplay mechanic is that you can't leave the circle, and then sometimes a group of them will like rush at you.
They will like come out of the circle and then like sort of pose at you and then rush.
Yeah, and so you have to just like do this for an indeterminate amount of time, and then they
right. And is it time? Is it a
number
certain amount
killed.
of health you
yeah,
get down
I don't
to?
know. I thought it's like so much in the game. I thought it was interesting, if not compelling. You know,
Right. Yeah. And also we never see these wolves again. And they were like featured in one of those early trailers. And I remember us being like, I don't know what these wolf guys.
well, when you go back to the area, you don't have to.
That's true.
They don't run in a circle, but you do get
That's true. I
attacked by
forgot
them when
about
you're
that.
walking through the tundra part of it.
So the first time I encountered these wolves, they killed me. And then the second time, they got me down to really low health, and then the cutscene started that ends the fight.
Hi.
And then I like progressed a little bit further, and then wanted to show you something in Mario Kart World, so I closed out of it without saving. And then the game, like when I started it back up again later, a couple days later, I had lost that progress and had to do this again.
I remember
You said at the time, this is dangerous.
because I remember the point where you were like, "Did I save recently? I must have," and then you like,
Yeah.
closed out of it.
Yeah, it's my hubris. But so the second time I went into the ice belt, it happened the exact same way. That the first time I
Oh,
died
that's
to the wolves,
obnoxious.
and then the second time
That's why I played on casual. I
Well-
didn't want that to happen to me. I do not think I would have finished this game on normal.
okay,
I do not think I would have had fun. Like
just
continually
too,
dying.
too difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since you've played I guess you played GoldenEye in the last couple of years, right? I'm just trying to think of like the last time you played like a first person shooter.
Oh.
It's not really the kind of game that we
Yeah. What is
play a lot for this show.
I can't remember.
Doom in 2018 or 17 or whatever.
Yeah, but like I mean, we definitely played Jet Force Gemini. Is that first person or was that third person?
I'd prefer not to remember.
Yeah, let's not. So yeah, Ice Belt.
Ice Belt, yes, but then you get inside and it becomes like a subterranean base where it's like a lab and you're learning about all of these Lamorne bodies that they couldn't save that became grievers.
Yeah, and I thought there's a mechanic in here where like there's a door and the only way to unlock these doors is to find like these different memories basically that act as like keys.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Weird that it didn't come back a bunch of times.
Right. Like yes, it happens in that first run through the ice area
And that's
then
kinda
never
it.
again.
You also spend some time like sort of out on like the icy cliffs a little bit here.
Yes, where it's windy.
Which is very, very
that
cool.
part is fun.
And this is where you first meet Tokabi, as we mentioned before. And when you return to it, this is one where like you do half of it earlier in the game and the other half later. When you revisit it, this is also where what's his name, View 995 is. The robot who is a robot.
Yeah, and can bash heavy things.
He can bash heavy things. That's right. Yeah. Okay. That's basically it for the ice belt. Next up, we're going to discuss the flare pool, which is the volcano, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You go in here kind of early and then discover that you can't do anything, right?
Yeah, that's right, because you have to get an upgrade for your Viola that allows it to like hover over lava.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's like a whole like cutscene where like you extend a bridge and then Silex like nukes
Yes,
it.
that's right. Yeah. It's like, no thanks.
No bridge, thank you.
Uh-huh.
A kind of a cool area, but I think bogged down by. So, there's like a lava refinery or like green stuff refinery in there. And so you spend a lot of the like second half of this area with Armstrong and Duke. And you're like riding around on like a tram inside the volcano. And that's where the sort of like hyper linearity of the game starts to like weigh on you or weigh on me a bit. Because you are truly just like, okay, next part. And then you go in, you solve an easy puzzle. Next part, easy puzzle, next part.
I will say that I thought this area had a strong boss.
I will agree.
Yeah. So points to it for that.
A multi-phase boss where like one of the phases is like a genuinely interesting way to engage with the game's mechanics.
Yeah.
We will talk about all the bosses in another ranking later in the episode. Anything else about Flare Pool? Next up is the Great Mines.
Yeah, so this is like where when we were talking about it as I was playing it, I was like, this just feels like it's become a military shooter where
Yes.
you get the gang together, you get all like the Federation forces together, and then you're going into the mines to get the teleporter. Right at that point, that's what you need from
No,
there.
you need the fifth key, right?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Great Mines is where you get the fifth key. Um, I will say, I think that the like area. This is another one where I think the boss is cool, and like those giant,
The boss is cool,
like
yes.
griever things. You're
Mhm.
using the grapple a bunch in like interesting ways or like fun ways to me.
Yeah.
Like I liked this area, even though again it's a very so linear,
It's so
so
linear,
linear.
and like it is the first time that the game gets like kind of dour in its presentation of an environment. It feels a little bit like the end of Resident Evil 4 when
Hmm.
like, and this is also in line with like the military shooter thing where like you've made it to the island where like
Yeah.
all of that stuff is, but there are like the underground mines there. So maybe there's only
No,
so
you're
many
right.
ways.
And it's like waves of enemies, which
Yes.
is another thing that happens at the end of Resident Evil 4 where you're like on
Totally.
the back of that truck and you're just
Yeah.
like and so like that happens here cuz anytime you use your missiles or like make a loud noise, then grievers come out of the wall and you have to and then also there's scripted moments where grievers are like
Right.
rushing at you. So there's just a lot of shooting grievers here.
There's also a real problem in that this is the area that where you get both the super missiles and the power bombs, and they serve sort of redundant purposes.
Yeah.
That they both just blow up things that were hard to blow up previously.
Uh-huh.
So they're both just keys, which is weird. I also use the super missiles to like fight bosses too, but like
Yeah, and in that way, I feel like the pacing is strange. It's strange to be
right,
like, oh, now you just get these two things that, like
yes,
you said, are really close to being identical.
yeah, but the final boss there is fun.
Uh huh. I would
Um,
say across the board, boss
Boss is
fights,
good.
good.
Boss is good. All right. Anything else about the Great Minds? Okay, moving on then to the final area, the Chrono Tower, which you really only experience at the beginning of the game and at the very end. And in the beginning, it's it's this, like ivory tower, very like stark, still very vaginal everywhere, but with robots kind of like lining the walls,
Yeah.
and so it feels ominous and like sterile and strange, and it's very effective in that. It just this is an area that to me feels very much like Tanamar, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, we spend a little bit of time there, but
Yeah, I think
we
like
don't really explore.
yes, design wise it's interesting, and I think it for me it carried forward like the momentum of that opening where you're like, oh, like the design is cool and this feels so alien, and you're introduced to the Lemorne and like all this kind of stuff.
Right.
In that way, I thought it was good, but yeah, it doesn't factor that heavily into the game.
Okay, so let's determine some of the like lower end. I feel like Tanamar is going to be at the
Yeah,
very bottom,
Tanamar
right?
probably the lowest.
Yeah, I think that's probably true for me. And then maybe the Chrono Tower right above it. Like
Yeah.
it's cool and all, but like it just it they these are areas that don't totally feel like gameplay areas.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've been bagging on the Great Mines.
Right. No, I think I would put that one there as well. I think I want to put Volt Forge towards the top, maybe the
I
top.
think Volt Forge is number one. Yeah. It's just so cool
It's a
and
strong
strange.
introduction as like the second area
Yes,
of the
yeah.
game that you explore. Um so
Right. So what we haven't really placed here are Fury Green, Soul Valley, Ice Belt, and Flare Pool, and I think they're all pretty good.
I think this is what I would do.
Yeah.
I think I would put Ice Belt under Volt Forge. I would put Soul Valley next, then Fury Green, then Flare Pool.
Hmm. Okay. So you're saying Ice Belt just below the Volt Forge.
Uh-huh.
I think I agree with that. There's the Ice Belt does have some of it's kind of got more variety in it because there's like the tundra area, there are the labs underground, and there's like the cliffside stuff, and they're all compelling like slices of that environment. So I agree with that. I don't know between Fury Green and Soul Valley. That's I guess the place where But I'm fine with Soul Valley being next. I find Soul Valley compelling.
Yeah, Soul Valley. I just wish there was more to do there. It left me wanting more.
Right. Especially because like every now and then there are like little ramp challenges or like you got to use a boost at the right time to like get up on a little plateau. And I would have loved for there to be more of that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then Flare Pool definitely better than the Great Mines, but worse than Fury Green. That makes sense to me. So I think that's our ranking of the areas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 of them. So number 8 is Tanamar.
Number 7 is the Chrono Tower.
Number 6 is the Great Mines.
Number 5 is the Flare Pool.
Number 4 is Fury Green.
Number 3 is Soul Valley.
Number 2 is Ice Belt.
And number 1 is Volt Forge.
Volt Forge is our favorite area of the areas. Next up, we are ranking the psychic powers. We'll probably spend less time on all of these as we go through them.
Yeah.
First up is the psychic glove. This is the thing that lets you take the psychic motes out of things. So it's really just like triggering things in the environment.
And I think it's the thing that lets you do a bunch of stuff. Like, I think the grapple comes out of the glove and all that kind of stuff too.
Sure, but I mean, its actual function, right, is
to open doors.
Is to and solve puzzles, right? Like when you're manipulating those like psychic things. Yeah,
that's true.
That's all part of it.
Up next is the control, and there's a couple of these that I didn't count. Like it's like the psychic beam, just like the regular one. It's like whatever. But the control beam.
Yes.
This is the kind of like bullet time thing where you can slow down time when you fire this, and then
control it.
Yeah, control the direction.
Like it's some sort of beetle in Skyward Sword.
I was actually trying to remember the name of an early PlayStation 3 game.
All right.
Where it was because you was using the
6-axis.
The 6-axis. And so you would do the same thing. You like threw this boomerang type thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you controlled, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was called, but it was like really early. Anyways.
Do you remember how you had to use the like tilt controls to throw grenades in Uncharted 1?
That's right.
Like the whole rest of the game was like using the sticks and buttons, and they're like, but grenades should be different. Awful. Control beam, I gotta say, Mark, I know you played the game on casual. Once I figured out that I should be using the control beam as a weapon and not just as a thing to trigger panels to solve puzzles, I became 10 times better at fighting guys.
I never thought to use it in bosses, but I used it early in the game in Volt Forge when you were fighting the different bots.
Yeah, you kind of gotta
spinning real fast, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, in fact, I think you're supposed to because you get it probably right before those.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And honestly, this is one of the things that feels different about this game.
Yeah, and I thought was used pretty effectively. Where sometimes I was like, how do I get it? And then I would remember, how do I like hit that thing?
Yeah, how do I hit that thing?
And then I would remember that I had this.
Oh, I have the ability to do that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It took me a little bit to wrap my head around like how I control it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just with like the game is so customizable with like what axes are inverted when and all that kind of stuff. So like you can dial it in, but I remember being confused by some of it.
Do you know what's the other thing I forgot that you could do is when you go into your boost ball, and then you can like hold A to make one of your boost bombs, like psychic boost bombs, like float in the air, and then you can back up and then
use the glove.
I always forgot I could do that.
Well, so that is the next thing on the list is the psychic bomb. So that is that ability where you like plant a bomb, but the bomb floats and then you can fling it around.
Yeah.
I never used that in combat. Could you use it in combat? I guess you could.
I guess you could, but I think it's meant for puzzle solving.
Yeah, it's just to throw bombs places, which is cool.
Psychic boots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Psychic boots. This is nonsense.
They're psychic platforms.
Yes, but I think you can't step on them. Like you could perceive them.
Yes, but you can't step on them unless you have the psychic boots.
Right.
Yeah, the psychic powers are. It's not good.
It's not good. Right. It's just magic. Right. Anyway, then there's the psychic lasso, which is very similar to the. Actually, this is just to grab stuff and like pull it off of
Yeah, it's like the
walls.
Spider-Man web thing where, he
Yeah.
like when needs to open a hatch or something, so you
Right, or when he needs to
lasso it.
grab the door of a cop car so he can swing it around and throw it at Sandman or
Right.
something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the psychic boost ball.
Right, which that's what lets you do the boost ball on like the invisible tracks, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's so specific.
And then also you have to have the boost ball in order to go into some of the like triggers,
right.
that like yeah.
But is that separate from just like the regular boost ball?
Yeah, it has to be because there are the triggers that you go into that you
Yeah.
use a bomb to blow up, and then there's the ones where you have to like unfurl a bridge or something, so you have
To push it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Right. Or like move things around, whatever.
Right. So you have to like turn into a wheel
Yeah.
to spin it. And I think the only way you can do that is if you have the boost ball.
But I guess my question is there a difference between the psychic boost ball and just a boost ball? Because
Only those purple things that you can perceive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then there's the psychic grapple, which is your classic grappling hook.
Uh-huh.
Not sure why this is psychic, but it is.
Yep. Then the psychic spider ball,
Mhm.
which again,
Not sure why it's psychic.
not sure why it's psychic. Not sure why it's like. This is where I think the lore gets a little weird, where it's like, okay, well, anybody could be the chosen one because the Viola suit could 3D print itself to be whatever anybody needs to use these powers. But why are they calling it the spider ball, or are they just calling it the spider ball because Samus? You know what I mean? Because it's like,
I mean, were they just waiting for someone who could turn into a ball?
yeah,
Like, is
I
that
guess
it?
So.
Were they waiting for like Samus or like Sonic the Hedgehog?
No. Well, yes. That's why they had chili dogs all over the planet.
That is why they had chili dogs all over the planet. Then, of course, the psychic power bomb at the end, which, as we discussed, is kind of just a way to blow up
And to
hard
get a bunch
blow
of
up
those
things.
green crystals.
Right, because there are the like concentrated,
Like rocks.
yeah, that
Yeah.
have a lot of green crystals in them.
Boy, this just feels like ranking Metroid abilities in general.
It does.
There's nothing. I would say Boots probably at the bottom.
Boots probably at the bottom. I want to say control beam pretty high, just for sheer novelty.
Yeah.
I will also say maybe like next lowest above the psychic boots is I want to put the psychic power bombs in there, partially because I resent the fact that they're basically they could just be the super missiles.
Yeah.
You know. But then what else kind of goes at the bottom here?
So I think I had fun using the grapple.
I have fun using the grapple as well.
The spider ball. I actually thought the spider ball was interesting. How they have like some of the things where you fling yourself, and there's a few kind of like
that's kind of cool.
I don't know that puzzle is too strong of a word, but there's a few times where there's like
you
a
gotta
track
like
with
get
multiple
around.
paths
Yeah,
and, like,
totally.
enemies dancing all over it. So
psychic spider ball, I agree. So what I think there are maybe like tiers here, right?
yeah,
And I don't know about you, but I think the just the psychic glove in general, as you're like grabbing the motes and like putting them places, I feel that is pretty effective. It's like sort of the high end of the low tier.
yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think it's a fine ability. I think I think how you have it laid out, like glove. I mean,
I think control beam probably the top for me.
yes, but I think where does glove fit into this? Oh, because it can open doors. Yeah.
Open doors and solve puzzles and move things around. And
Yep.
Yes.
The lasso I think is interesting when it gets used in combat, like when you are
Yes.
you don't have to
and then
like
that final boss fight.
right.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty fun. The boost ball I think is kind of dumb. Like
Yeah,
it's just there because
I'll
it has to be there.
agree. And I think the psychic bomb is also like okay,
Uh-huh.
but not super compelling. So I think
Which I also never used it in combat, and maybe I should have been, and like bosses and stuff.
yeah, I don't know. I never did either. So I think okay. So I think the bottom looks like psychic boots, psychic power bomb, and then psychic boost ball right above that.
Yeah.
And then maybe psychic bomb right above that.
Yeah.
Okay. which then means that, for 1, 2, 3, 4, the top 5 are in some order: Psychic Glove, Control Beam, Psychic Grapple, Spider Ball, and Lasso.
I agree. I think Control Beam's probably at the top.
Okay.
I think Psychic Glove is maybe,
At the bottom of that?
yeah, at the bottom of that.
Yeah. Sorry, just moving things around. Psychic Glove at the bottom of that.
And then maybe I would put it in the order it is currently: Grapple, Spider Ball, Lasso, like that.
Yeah, I think that is right. Okay, so how many of these are there? Of the psychic powers.
Silence as we both count. 9, I think.
I wasn't counting. I was just being quiet while you counted. So the number 9, the ninth best psychic power is the Psychic Boots.
Number 8 is the Power Bomb.
Number 7 is the Psychic Boost Ball.
Number 6 is the Psychic Bomb.
Number 5 is Psychic Glove.
Number 4, the Psychic Lasso.
Number 3, the Psychic Spider Ball.
Number 2, the Psychic Grapple.
And number 1, the best psychic power, is the Control Beam. All right, Mark, we are now moving on to bosses. We are ranking the bosses. And I know I scanned all of these guys. By the way, scanning gotta happen faster, guys. Gotta happen faster.
I do think I scanned the most in this game that I've ever scanned in a Metroid Prime game. I had 91%.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's impressive, Mark.
Yeah. But yes, it was so slow.
All right. So let's first of all, we have basically everything that could be considered a boss. Do we want to trim this list as we go?
So yeah, I mean, we could, sure.
All right. So first up, we've got the Abarax.
And this is it's like a bipedal space pirate thing
Right.
that is at the very beginning of the game.
Right. On Tana, what is it called? Tanamar.
Tanamar.
Sort of a non-entity and like a tutorial boss, but he can be part of the ranking.
Sure.
All right, and then next we've got Carvex.
This is the boss of Fury Green, and it's like a kind of like a Venus flytrap plant type thing.
Yeah, sort of a Metroid classic, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a very similar boss in Metroid Prime 1 in that green area, and it feels just like the piranha plant boss in I'm doing this like swoopy motion with my hand and Mark is nodding in Super Metroid, right? And that ding 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 ding.
Yes,
ding,
but yeah,
ding,
it feels
ding,
very
ding,
classic
ding.
Metroid. The funny thing is that like I don't really remember the combat of this one very much, but
Yeah, well, because it's a lot of just like avoiding things and then like going into tubes and bombing stuff, right? Just like it is in Metroid Prime 1. This was when fighting this guy, I had fun, but I had a little bit of like, are these all going to be Metroid Prime 1 bosses again?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which,
This has like big tentacle things with glowing
Sure.
orbs on them that you blow up and then it
That's
opens
all
its,
of
like,
them.
mouth. I know. No, it is. I mean, it is all of them. Anyways,
yes,
that's
right.
Carvex.
That you use the control beam to like take out the vines. Yeah, that's right. Okay, next we've got a Silex Cybot Mimic from Volt Forge. Now, it doesn't have like a separate health bar, right? It's just sort of like, I don't know if we count these.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But they're tricky encounters and they look like they're Silex. Maybe they do have separate health bars. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
remember
they do.
either.
Maybe they do. All right, let's keep them in there.
Okay. Because we don't have like the ship in here when the ship is trying to mow you down. That's also controlled by.
That's true.
I don't know. We can see how we feel.
Yes. Next up is Zelios.
So this is the one in Volt Forge, and it's like a glowing orb type thing that has all these drones around it, and also it's Metroids. There's a
Metroid inside it.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the one that like looks like the what's the name of it? The big orb at Epcot.
Oh, like Spaceship Earth?
Like Spaceship Earth, and like each of the panels like comes off, and like they have like electricity behind them, and this is a boss that killed me once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally died. To this one.
It's cool and I like it, but it does feel like one with the least personality to me.
This is the one where you have to one of its attacks is like it's like energy forces sprawl out and become like a circle that is coming towards you.
Yeah.
And so now you use the control beam to blow up all three of them. And then
Yes.
you can attack like the center
Right.
part of it. I don't know. I think maybe I like this one more than you, but yeah, totally fair.
All right, next up is Keratos, who is this, what is this thing?
It's like
in
an
the ice
armored
belt.
bug. I feel like there's a lot of armored bugs in here. Like the what is that like late one called with like the three eyes, Omega or something like that?
Yes.
Or
yeah,
the
yeah.
behemoth.
The
like
behemoth,
is like
yes.
also an armored bug.
But this one is kind of it's kind of funnier than that though, right? Like it has like it's got these little legs with like rock armor kind of around them.
Uh-huh.
And you have to like take out its legs. I don't know. This is a fun boss in like a cool icy arena. He also like turns into a ball at several points and like tries to just mow you down.
Yeah.
I like an enemy that will also turn into a ball. That's fun to me. But yeah, so that's that's Keratos.
And then you have Feneros, which this is the one from the lava area and the flare pool. And this is one of my favorite bosses. It's like a
This thing's so cool. It's like a
lava
dragon.
rock
Yeah.
dragon thing. Yeah, it's awesome.
And part of what makes it so awesome is that like first you fight it on the bike, and then you fight it like kind of you're
Like on it.
you're standing on part of it, and yeah, you just gotta like unload on this thing's face and like where its weak points are on its face, like move around, and it like refreshes them really quick. And I used a lot of control beam to slow down time and like take those things out.
Uh-huh.
I thought this thing was super
And
fun
you're
to
like
fight.
damaging its tongue, and so there's a part where like
Yeah.
at the end where its mouth is just like open, and so you're just like blasting away at it. Yeah, I thought this one was really cool.
All right, great. And then we've got another Silex fight.
We can probably just combine those two, right, to be a single
Yes.
entry.
Although the second time you fight him is more fun, right? It's like at the bottom of the area, right? Where he will like make electricity. You're like going around between these grapple points.
Yes, there's a point where he like he basically like electrocutes the floor, and so you
Yeah.
have to like grapple and then shoot him to get him to stop doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I just stayed away from him until he stopped electrifying the floor. Because he also follows you around and like tries to shoot you.
This is one where the game actually glitched, and so I had grappled away to the far side.
Yeah.
And then he stopped his electricity, but then didn't move. Was just like standing there, and so I could just wail on him.
Yeah.
And that's like it was like 3/4 of the way through. It was like, oh, okay, all
Cool.
right.
I like this fight.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. And another like in both of these cases, I'm bummed each time that it's not actually Silex.
Yes, I know.
And in some ways, I'm like, just let me defeat him, and then he gets back up and runs away.
Right.
Like, why not
Like
that?
he left the healing pod for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he goes back.
Where he's
and
like,
kicked
here-
his butt.
Right, and to heal again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in a universe with a healing pod. We can do whatever. All right, next up is the Omega Griever.
Yeah, so this is the boss at the end of the Great Minds, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I can't even remember. Oh, it's like doing shockwave stuff, right? It's like stomping on the ground.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of shockwave stuff.
It shoots its tongue at you.
But it climbs around on the walls.
Oh, yeah, you have to shoot its legs. Its legs are its weak point.
Right, but then it opens up like a thing on its back, and it also
Uh-huh.
has an eye on there or whatever.
Yeah. We're just describing every video game boss ever.
It's true. I guess what I like about this is that it is, it's a griever.
Mhm.
So it is the corrupted version of the Lemorne, but like turned into a giant beast. It feels like the most thematically relevant boss, possibly outside of Silex,
Uh-huh.
but maybe not. This is another one that I had to try a couple times before I did it right. But he's got a lot of like fun, interesting attacks that are fun to like see them telegraphed and avoid. Like it's just a satisfying combat experience, I would say.
Yep. Up next is Varmus. And this is like, again, do we count this as a
And
boss?
we're not Yosemite Sam talking about Bugs Bunny.
Uh-huh. So
Varmis.
as you are getting you're teleporting like the different mech parts from the desert in like the second to last
Yes.
collectathon. You in one of the parts is like in the mouth or
Yeah, it gets swallowed by it. You see it happen. This like sandworm essentially
Yeah.
from Dune jumps
this
out.
Varmis.
This Varmis, rootin' tootin' Varmis, jumps out of the sand and like, swallows the mech part.
And once I figured out how to do this, how to like
Yes.
damage it, like
Because you
the
just got to
combat
ram it
part
with
of
the bike.
Right, you just have to ram its tail with the bike. But it comes straight at you, so you have to like
Yeah.
angle the bike to get away from it and then turn around really quick so then you can boost into
Yep.
its tail. Once I did that, I thought it was fun. Yeah.
But I also spent a long time, like probably 10 straight minutes of like shooting it. And like,
I spent those 10 minutes trying to figure out how I could turn the bike around fast enough. So I would like, and like the angle I should be going at, because it'd be coming at me and it wouldn't damage me, but I'd like ramp off of it.
right. It would
And
just
so,
throw you elsewhere. An untraditional fight, boss fight in this game.
Yeah.
And then that leads us to just Silex, the final...
you have Behemoth first.
Oh, the Behemoth, yes.
Yeah, so Behemoth is it has like 4 eyes. It's another like armored bug kind of. It has 4 eyes, and then you have to shoot those different eyes in order to like damage it and all this stuff. But I think, is this the one that is has the different like elemental things, like it's all of them? Or I guess maybe that's the last Silex fight.
That's the last Silex fight,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love me an armored bug.
It's a good one.
A giant armored bug. And then the final Silex fight, which has a couple different phases, right?
Mhm.
Really just 2 main ones. But so like which we sort of discussed previously, there's you and all the Marines in one room fighting Silex as he has these tentacles coming out of his back that are firing different elemental attacks at you, and you have to shoot the weak point on the end of the tentacles, and then once it's broken, use the grapple beam to...
Or the tether.
The tether, yes.
Yeah, to like grab it and pull it.
Mhm.
And also the Federation forces can help you.
In fact, they do, yes.
Yeah, they're like firing at it
They
as well.
can also get hurt.
They can also like, yes, be injured, and so you have to go over and heal them, and if they die, you like lose.
Game doesn't like it if you let them die.
This is another thing that I don't actually know if it was influenced at all, but feels kind of like, in Breath of the Wild with the champions,
Yeah.
Or Tears of the Kingdom with the sages, where it's like, well, but the difference is that in that game it's like optional to get them.
Yes.
And so it's like, well, if you chose to get all of them, then you're just that much more powerful, with these waves of enemies at the end.
And you don't have to worry about them ever.
Right. But in this game, it's like, no, you had to get them. So it feels a little less special to have them.
Yeah,
helping you.
that's true. There's also just something like intangibly... Well, I guess we shouldn't talk too much about the end of Tears of the Kingdom on an episode spoiling Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, just general spoiler warning for all
everything.
Video games. Yes. But so that's the first phase.
That's the first phase, and then the second phase, you get sucked off into another dimension. Right, like you're in space on some weird platform.
Yes.
And it's just kind of like a one-on-one fight.
And this is like, wait. Is this the one where Silex is in front of you and it becomes almost like a
there's
third
that,
person
yes.
shooter thing? So that's after this. You have to damage him some more, and then that happens.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. There is like the little Star Fox section there.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it's like the one-on-one fight, and again, he's using a lot of like cool like telegraphed abilities that like you can see what he's about to do. You can build your strategy of how to like counter each one. Sometimes he'll turn into like a ball and be like charging at you, and you got to be a ball yourself and like dash out of the way. I thought all of this was super fun.
I thought so too.
Like really, really an excellent final taste of gameplay from Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So
yeah, how to rank these?
I'm gonna say here. Okay, so I'm gonna use names, and I hope I'm right.
Okay.
Theranos, that's the lava dragon.
That's the lava dragon.
I think he's number 1.
Okay.
And then I think the final boss fight with Silex,
Uh-huh.
number 2.
Okay. I think Abarax is going to be the bottom for me.
Sure.
And, that's the role that it was born to play. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, it was created as like a tutorial boss.
All right. Then we've got a lot of armored bugs here.
I would say maybe Carvex is
He's kind of low. This
he's
is the
kind
plant
of low.
boss.
Yeah, even though I like the design, I'm going to temporarily put it above Abarax.
Okay,
and
then can we put Zelios right above that?
Yes.
This is the sort of robot, the spaceship.
Oh,
Earth.
sure, at Volforge.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just again like a interesting fight, but like feels kind of like it doesn't have a lot of personality.
Yeah. I did like the Omega Griever.
I
thought
like
that
the
was
Omega
fun
Griever
with it, like
too.
running around on the wall and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
So let's put him up there with the final three, but I feel like there's going to be someone else above that. Maybe even like Keratos. Keratos, of course, being the sort of like icy bug.
Oh, yeah.
He's just got a funny little dance as he like tiptoes around the map, and turns into a big snowball and rolls at you.
Right.
Maybe the Omega Griever is better, but
well, what do we do about Silux, about the Cybot mimics? Because you're right, the one with the grapple hook is fun.
yeah, should we resplit them back up or just take both into account? And
Maybe just take both into account, and if we want to count the spaceship attack, we can do that too.
let's put no spaceship attack.
Okay.
Let's put the Silux Cybot mimic just below the Omega Griever.
Okay.
And then Keratos?
I would
Or
almost...
do you not like Keratos that much?
No. I like Keratos fine. Varmus is a hard one to rank because it's so different from the other ones.
Do you want to eject him from the list?
I think I
Rootin'
do.
Tootin'?
Either that, we either eject him from the list,
Uh-huh.
or I think he goes like below the Cybot mimic Siluxes for me.
But above Keratos?
I think so.
You like Varmus more than you like Keratos.
I think so.
All right, put him up there. Which then we have to decide which we like more, the Behemoth or Keratos. This is Armored Bug v. Armored Bug.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we can barely remember Behemoth other than it has 4 eyes, so I think we just leave it down there.
Okay, great. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
7,
Behemoth
8,
is the
9,
one that when you go back to
the flare pool,
to
right?
the flare pool, so it has a bunch of fire attacks. It's
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Okay. So our number 10 least favorite boss in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is Abarax.
Number 9 is Carvex.
Number 8 is Zelios.
Number 7 is Behemoth.
Number 6 is Keratos.
Number 5 is Varmus.
Number 4 is the Silux Cybot Mimic.
Number 3 is the Omega Griever.
Number 2 is the final Silux fight.
And number 1 is Feneros.
Yes, that lava dragon.
Uh-huh.
What's up with the names of these things?
They're all very similar.
They write them to be hard to remember, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
Except Varmus. We'll never forget.
Rootin' Tootin'. All right. So the final ranking that we're going to do is we're going to rank the Federation Force Marines. Now, Mark, a point of order as we list them out. Miles McKenzie, Tokabi, Duke, Armstrong, View 995, Silux.
Interesting.
Because we see in memories that he was a member of the Federation and was a Marine.
He was, but is probably no longer.
Right.
And
probably dishonorably discharged.
Or
discharged. AWOL. We don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Probably AWOL.
Probably AWOL, yeah.
Probably AWOL.
I just felt it my duty to bring up that he should maybe be on the list. I'm totally comfortable not ranking him with the rest of them.
Yeah. Do you know what? Let's put him in reserve. Let's rank the others and then figure out
if Silux fits
where
into
we
that.
would put Silux.
Right. Okay. Great. So let's just talk about these guys in order. Miles McKenzie, of course, lit the world on fire when he was revealed to be the single bad thing about Metroid Prime 4 in early previews.
And as I've said before,
I don't mind him at all.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, some people sounds like have never hung out with a dork before.
He's just like of the most video game character.
Totally.
But there have been worse. There have been better. I don't know. It didn't. Even when he chimed in, I did think that sometimes,
Towards the end of the game, he calls you too
he
much.
calls a lot, and you're like, I know where I'm supposed to go. Thank you for reminding me, but I'm trying to like get this shrine right now, or I'm trying to like collect things.
Right.
Or
I saw something
whatever.
interesting, and I'm pursuing that. Please don't tell me to do
especially
what I have
because
to do.
it introduces early in the game this mechanic like you can call me.
Right.
And that's what it should have been. It's like I don't know where to go. Let me ping him, and he can tell me then instead of like continually offering it up. Anyways, yeah, didn't bother me. Maybe my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think very, very likely, and he's also just there from the beginning, and is the only one that upgrades you, right?
Right.
You take all of these chips to him, and he like gives you the environmental upgrades.
I mean, the other four do sacrifice their lives for you.
They
twice.
all sacrifice their
Yeah, but
lives.
Miles only does it once.
That's true. What a great point. But he's been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
He's wearing glasses. His helmet looks like he's wearing glasses. Like it's a
nerd alert. Major nerd alert.
Major nerd alert. I love also that like he gets to a safe room and he's like, I'm gonna play with this computer for a while.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. He's cool. He seems like a gearhead, right? Like he's enthusiastic about.
Yeah, he can upgrade you, bring him
Yes.
like chips, and he can upgrade you and give you all these fancy new abilities.
Yep, and he's like scanning stuff. Like even during that final like Silex fight, he's scanning stuff, and you're like, "What, dude? What do you do? We have the data we need." But I like that. He seems to have, the rest of them like have a purpose in that is just like military stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just a little bit different, so he gets to be special in that regard.
Yep.
Next up, Tokabi. We've stopped including the first names here, and that's fine. Tokabi, we meet him originally injured. He's manning the gun turret, saves you from some ice wolves, and then becomes a spirit guide with a deep connection to planet Vuros.
Yeah.
Which we are shaking our heads at vigorously because it's so ridiculous. But man, if they had just built to that change,
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been fun.
And by built, even if they just had one thing that like hinted that it was
Yes.
going to happen.
Yes. Instead, you just get a call from Miles being like, "I don't know what's up with Tokabi now. He's different."
Yeah.
He also gives you like a little charm towards the end of the game that Samus leaves on the new like memory tree before like
the end.
going off to wherever she goes next.
Yeah.
Which is funny that like, yes, here's the last thing of my friend gave me before he died, and I'm just gonna leave it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else to say about Tokabi?
Not much. His legs hurt. He uses a healing pod
Sure
to
does.
be healed. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's very lightly characterized until he's like overly characterized. All right, let's move on to. Should we sort of address Duke and Armstrong?
Yeah,
together?
let's talk about yes.
So Duke is like this grizzled commander guy who
He's
is
a sergeant.
Yeah, he's basically Apone from Aliens. Shouting the orders at people, but also like has a little bit of a softy side to him. But yeah, just like a hard ass, right?
Yep. And then Armstrong is, like the eager young recruit that is eager to please, gets distracted by Samus, totally in love with Samus, in awe of Samus.
She's so in love with Samus that I was like, is there something like, is she just fangirling or is there something else here? But of course, like Samus doesn't reciprocate anything.
No, literally doesn't talk. Even when she's in a lot of distress because Duke just seemingly died. But yeah, I mean, that's basically her characterization.
Yeah.
Overly eager, and then Duke is like, snap out of it,
Right, and she always does. Like she rises to the occasion.
Yep.
Sacrifices herself for you twice. That's her deal. Their helmets, I think, are Duke and Armstrong have the same helmet design. Tokabi has like two glowing eyes, or no, one glowing eye because he's like a sniper, right? And Miles has the two sort of like representing his glasses. I think it's interesting that they have different helmet designs.
Yeah.
But theirs are just like visors, a lot more like Samus's.
Yeah.
Because these are like our straight up like fighter guys.
And then finally we have View 995, which is just a robot, right?
Yes, there is
Yeah.
no man inside that robot, which I was not expecting to encounter a robot friend in this game.
Right.
There are some ways in which I really like him because it is fun to have a big guy around to smash through stuff.
Uh-huh.
But there are other ways in which I find him annoying. There is a period in this game where he and one, maybe Takabi, maybe it's Duke, I don't remember, are having a conversation back at the base. And the human is like, I have this song in my head, but I can't remember the lyrics. And View is like, I know those lyrics. And he recites them. And it is, a robot reciting the lyrics to a song that reminds the Marine of home should be a magical Miyazaki-esque moment, right? Like, there's just enough weird stuff happening there where it's like, does this robot have feelings? What do feelings mean? There are big questions it could imply and a lot of like gut punches it could deliver, but I felt nothing.
And I don't even, because you were saying that this is unskippable, right?
Yes.
And I don't even remember this happening. I think
You
might
leave
have
the
been-
room. You
I
found a
think-
way to
yeah,
skip
I
these
think this is
things.
one of the times where it's like, oh, you're like checking in with Miles
Yes.
to get some sort of thing that you need next. And I was like, I'm going to use this opportunity to go to the bathroom.
Right. Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah, I totally missed this part entirely.
Doesn't a singing robot sound charming?
It does, but it's, again, like a thing that they do a lot, or that this game I chose to do, couldn't escape, where it's just like, we're checking the boxes of like sci-fi tropes.
Yes.
And we're not embracing it enough to be like tongue-in-cheek about it. And so it's just kind of like replaying those tropes.
Totally. Well, and it's also like when I think about a robot singing a song, my brain immediately goes to like Wally singing.
Sure.
What is he?
Put on your Sunday clothes.
Yeah, put on your yes. And like if they had used a real song that I knew, and
Yeah.
like played a little bit of the music, that may have done something different. But like, it's just made up bullshit.
Okay, so that's all of the
That's all the Marines,
Marines,
unless we want
unless
to
we
include
wanna talk about
Silex, which we've talked about him already.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, so there's only 5 of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I think it might be the order in which they are introduced is the order in which I care for them.
Miles number 1,
Uh-huh.
Takabi number 2, but
This
Takabi
is so weird.
post change.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the whole thing together because it is so strange.
Yeah.
Sure, and then
Maybe Armstrong
I
above
think
Duke.
I like Armstrong over Duke.
Yeah.
And I think I may like View better than either of them.
Okay.
Um,
Man, I really missed that cutscene then. I think it was the wrong time to. No, you're right. And especially from like a gameplay, if nothing else.
Yes.
From a gameplay mechanic, more interesting than Armstrong or Duke, who are there to also press a button to open a door.
Oh my god, that I forgot about that part.
At least, I mean, View is basically doing the same thing. He's opening doors for
But
you.
he's smashing them.
But he's smashing them.
There's
He
also
can-
a part in the mines where he's like, Samus, please turn into a ball so I can throw you.
Yes.
Which is the single funniest thing that
that
happens
part
in
is
this
so
game.
great. All these grievers are coming, and there's a big chasm, and so yes.
Samus, please turn into a ball. I gotta say, the Metroid Prime makes the whole morph ball thing so funny because it's still huge. Like when you're playing a side-scrolling game, you can be like, oh yeah, she turned into a ball that's like some weird small thing. But like in this, you're like, that ball is still 3 feet tall. It's still huge.
Yeah.
Still probably weighs like 500 pounds with all that metal and stuff. But so yeah, I put View above Armstrong and Duke.
Yeah, that's fair.
Silex, what do you want to do?
I just feel like he's so different, such a different presence,
Yes.
that it's hard to compare against like these characters, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think maybe not include him in this rating.
Let's finalize the ranking, and then I want to talk about Silex just a little bit more before
sure.
we get out of here. So the Federation forces ranked from 5 to 1. Number 5 is Duke.
Number 4, I was going to say number 1. Number 4 is Armstrong.
Number 3 is View 995.
Number 2 is Takabi.
And number 1, congratulations, Miles McKenzie. You are our favorite of these Federation Force Marines. Silex.
Yes.
Okay, so there is playing as Samus in a Metroid game, super fun, right? We love her. She's a stoic badass,
Mhm.
and all of that is sometimes off-putting in a way that is funny, and sometimes is maybe just like a little off-putting. She's too silent of a protagonist to the point where like she doesn't react to anything.
Yeah.
And we've just seen a lot of her. Could we ever get a Metroid game where you play as Sylux? Like someone who has a little bit more of like a genuinely mercenary outlook on the galaxy and who is like trying to get power, goes to a planet and like tries to get all the upgrades.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like just slightly realign what we know about like a character in a Metroid game, and just to offer a slightly new perspective and a new area of the universe to explore.
Well, here's a pitch for you because there have been other like Metroid.
Sylux for Smash, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. Well, of course. There because of like in Metroid Prime Echoes, there's kind of like the light world and the dark world, and like Dark Samus and like all that kind of stuff. I wonder if you could do something where like because of Metroids, Samus and Sylux are like psychically connected.
Sure, here we go.
You know, it's almost like a Last Jedi type thing. And so, yes, you are sometimes playing as
passing a lightsaber
Samus.
between them, yeah.
You are sometimes playing as Sylux, and then at some point, you know, that comes together in some sort of way. But like, because like, I mean, I don't think Sylux would be a particularly fun character to play as, like, for the like whole of the game because he's so like unlikable, right?
Well, but does he have to be? Like,
you want to humanize Sylux.
I want to humanize Sylux, yes.
Why is Sylux? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we learned that he's like he's in a battle, going after a weapon that he thinks he'll use to like defend his crew. And then he's told to wait. And then Samus messes the whole thing up for him.
Yeah.
Well, you know, disarming the weapon. Like, I think there is something to, like he is in pursuit of power or like strength, but that strength in and of itself is not necessarily an ill end. He's just been like bent in that direction for long enough that like, you know, he is a bad guy.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
I just feel like there's something there. And you know,
you want a Beauty and the Beast Sylux, where it's like you want to be trapped in his castle. You're gonna find that good.
Yes, and I want to meet his magic clock and candelabra. I want them to sing to me as they feed me dinner. All right, I think that's our conversation about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Mark, let's close this out. It feels good to like actually debrief about this game and like
to finally be able to kind of like close the book on it.
Yes. I imagine neither of us will be revisiting this game anytime soon necessarily.
Yeah, but like we said, like it's interesting. I had a fine time with it. There were parts that I really enjoyed. There were parts that kind of like dragged for me, but overall, I would say like I had a good time.
Yeah, me too. As good a time as I have with any Metroid Prime game. I think
it's just a weird series.
It is in fact a weird series.
And I think we all in our minds have this idea of like a perfect Metroid Prime game that just does not exist, and I don't know ever will.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, and the one thing that we can say for sure is that like this was not the Breath of the Wild of Metroid.
No.
And you know, what an insane expectation for anything.
Right.
There are so few Breaths of the Wild out there.
But the Switch generation was just filled with so many like
packed with them
defining moments for a series. And after the success of Dread, it just felt like Prime 4 was teed up to possibly take the series to even a higher echelon.
Yes.
And that didn't happen. It just turned out it was a fine game instead of like a breathtakingly amazing game.
Right. Well, and I like Dread better than I like Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah. Like, but I just like the 2D Metroid games I like more than the Prime games, right? And Dread, while being a great game, is also not the Breath of the Wild of 2D Metroid. Mm-hmm. Like, there are some ways in which a Metroid game, just like filling the brief of being a Metroid game, which was one of the first things I said about Prime 4 when they first showed it off. That was like, yeah, you jump, you shoot, and you scan stuff. And like, yeah, it's doing the thing that I like and that's enough for me.
Yeah, it's interesting that Metroid has, maybe because we get so few of them, that
Yeah.
like Metroid's been able to, I think in some ways, like avoid the Star Fox problem, where
Sure.
they are able to kind of just deliver the same thing again and again with Metroid, and we get so few of them that it works.
Yeah, and I wonder if part of that is that it's sort of bifurcated into these two series, which means they should just make a second Star Fox Adventure so that we can start building out that that sub series. But yeah, I mean, in some ways, like, yeah, we just want more of the same kind of thing that we liked before, just in like a different setting with like different power ups or whatever.
So I'm sorry. I know we've been talking about this a long time, but another thing that I thought was so interesting was in the credits of the game, there are so many studios credited.
Totally.
So many. And like ones that are not like, there's like Next Level Games, which is owned by Nintendo. There's Retro. But there are so many studios. Like you can just tell that this was a challenging, like it was a different type of Nintendo first party game.
Well, and we talked about it on previous episodes that like this game was like born out of an ask from Nintendo of America to be like, please develop a numbered Metroid Prime game for Switch.
Yeah.
And then like it sort of was backfilled from the ask. And yeah, it's apparent, and that Retro was not staffed up in order to make a game like this. They'd been making Donkey Kong games for 15 years, and they hadn't even done that.
Nothing. Yeah,
in many years. So yeah, it perfectly stands to reason that like they had to utilize all of they had to call in every favor.
It's just I guess it's interesting because in some ways I expected Metroid Prime 4 to be like a statement on what the future of Metroid Prime would be, and this does not feel like that at all.
Right.
This feels like fulfilling a contractual obligation, and then if like Retro is now prepared to make like a fifth Metroid Prime, that feels like it would now be poised to. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, okay,
it could be.
We have our feet under us.
Yes.
Now where do we go from here?
Well, that's so interesting because like at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't think that exists. I think
maybe let Metroid Prime end.
Either let it end or like put out 5 and it's another like adventure. We're in another place and like
it doesn't. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If Metroid Prime 4 or 5 came out 2 years from now, and it was not reinventing the wheel, we're in a totally different planet. We have a lot of the same powers, but this time they're magic instead of psychic.
No, new powers, please.
1 or 2 new powers.
Please.
You now get like a cool hang glider.
Right, yeah.
No, but I think you can.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like it doesn't. If you're saying this is Metroid Prime and not this is an event that changes video games or whatever, we just like set our expectations correctly, and
it would be really cool to get another one in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Just like yeah.
All right, that is our conversation about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and that is it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McKay, Patrice Millette, Kyle Seaborn, and Drew Mackey. Thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon or is in the Discord or listening here or who's made it to the end of our 2-hour-long episode about Metroid Prime 4. We appreciate you listening and interacting with us in all the ways that you do. If you would like to interact with us more, get over on the Discord, email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8BitBetty. You can get more of his music by going to 8BitBetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening and see you next mission.